Hello and welcome to.
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, everyone. It's Dawn here, and I am joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. How you doing, Maddie? It's good to see you.
Good. I'm good. It is. There's a lot going on. Dawn, there's a lot going on. Woo. I'm talking about nationally, in my house, at my job, just all the things are happening. But I'm good.
Oh, I can't wait to hear everything. Because
it's just like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I will say this, that at the time of our recording here, the NFL just announced what they're going to do with the Bengals Bills game. They're just saying, nope, not going to play it, not going to do it. But here are the ramifications for the playoffs. I know. Please applaud for that. Absolutely.
Please not.
It was the right move for sure.
Yeah.
So they're going to adjust kind of like how they're going to adjudicate which stadiums playoff games will be hosted in based on if the outcome of this game would have affected them or not. So in a game where it's like, well, this would have been the Bengals or it would have been somebody else's place based on if the Bengals and Bills had gone a certain way, then they have to like find a different like neutral site to have those games at.
Okay.
And so the memo that came out that, like all the national reporters just reposted, just retweeted, the wording is like, it's like reading the rules for what is a catch in the NFL. It's kind of dense, it's kind of complicated, but it's all there because it's thorough and they thought it through really well. And I think it's good at making things as fair as you can without trying to like shoehorn another game in for teams that just dealt with a traumatic incident. So that's a lot of what I said. A lot's going on. And of course, the other part is that Damar Hamlin is showing really, really good signs. Hopefully that continues, through to when people are hearing this on Saturday, if they're listening, on a podcast platform. But as of when we're recording this, his vitals are looking better. He was able to write a note because he couldn't quite talk yet because he still had the tube in his mouth for breathing. So still needed the machine to breathe. But the fact that he could like write a note to say like, did we win the game? And the fact that he could like understand the people around him, recognize people is so good.
Oh my gosh. Good. When I heard that, I loved how the doctor said, we know that the lights are on and he's home. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the lights are on, but that's not to say he still needs a lot of care because they still don't know if he has any, for the reasons you just explained, that he is still intubated, so he can't speak. So they don't know to what extent he may or may not have had any further damage to his brain, really. Mm-hmm. And that was the scariest part for me, is how long they were giving him the CPR and how long that they were, and they intubated him. I think when he was I think they intubated him, but then they did whatever else. I don't want to get into it in the tunnel before they took him to the hospital, because people were also waiting. Why haven't they left the tunnel? Mm-hmm. And so the longer you're low on oxygen or without oxygen, obviously they had successfully revived his pulse, which is such good news on the field. Yeah. But the longer you're low enough on oxygen like that, then you've got to worry about, neurological damage. So this was something else. I still hardly recovering from this. And hey, Lorenzo. And Lorenzo's been on my page every day with me. We've been holding each other's hands about this. I've got to put some posts in the community page and that kind of thing. It's good to see you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, Lorenzo. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
And so nice of the family that they allowed the doctors to come out and speak, because they had to have permission from the family. And the doctors were asked. I finally I kind of listened to the whole press conference. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the doctors. Yeah. It was a little bit later because I've had a crazy day too. But they can see. One of the questions was kind of cool. The reporter asked, "Can you feel that the prayers coming your way?" And they said, yeah. And they could just like look out their window and see people standing out there holding vigil and that kind of thing. And it's going to probably be pretty overwhelming for him because he didn't know all these things happen. Like he just woke up and said, did we win? Right. And so he's probably going to be like, what? I've got $7 million, $8 million in my toy drive. What?
A lot of money for kids' toys. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't think it's all for toys. I read something where the funds can be used for a couple of different things. So it's not all toys, because there are a lot of people that are like, well, toys are nice for kids, but some families need food and everybody's got an opinion about things. So I'm sure they'll figure it out. But you do have to be careful when you're raising money to use it for what you said you're going to raise it for. Yes. And so that was the thing that I'm like, oh boy, I hope he can buy a lot of toys or whatever he needs to do but they'll figure that out. And I just hope he continues. Man, that was, I can't imagine being him or the family or the coaches and the team members, but even for us just watching, if you were watching and you felt, hurt or traumatized by that, then you're not alone. A lot of people, I got really shook up. I got really rattled. It's still kind of rattling me. So I sent my friend who doesn't watch football a text, and she's immediately called me, and she doesn't even this is one of my friends who doesn't like to talk on the phone. And she said, I could tell from your text that this was like really important. And so I told her everything that was going on. And she's been a good listening ear for me.
You got to have people to talk to. That's so important. Yeah, that's just basic attending to your mental health, is making sure you have the space to talk through things and process them, because that's not easy.
No, it's not. And that's why I mentioned it too, because if you're feeling stressed and you didn't have anybody to talk to, and it's 4 days later and you're still bothered by this, it's okay. You're normal. Like, it's not normal to see that happen. And either it was a really rare event, and some have been, and I'm not going to get into that, but some doctors have said it might have been, it kind of appeared to be this one thing that can happen to interfere with the electrical function of your brain if you just got hit at the right time or the wrong time, or a pre-existing, whatever it is. We're just not used to seeing somebody go down like that and not be able to. At first we think neck injuries or shoulder injury and a neck injury is bad. It's bad enough that we have to see head and neck injuries with the NFL, but this was really something else. So I'm glad to hear that. So they're not going to play the game. They're going to figure it out.
But they're going to make sure it's as equitable for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And we just got to move forward now. Because it's like, okay, Damar showing like really good signs of improvement. We can kind of like now move on to like the getting the details sorted out. Now that we know that he's okay, sort out the details now, figure this stuff out, make sure it works for everybody. I think they're handling it well. I think they should have called off the game much quicker than they did the night of, and that was a bad look, because it sounds like from reports that they knew pretty quickly they're going to need to cancel the game, but just didn't get that out to everybody, to let us know that's what was happening. And they really, that was botched. But I feel like since then they've done a good job. And like the fact that the focus has always been like on Damar's health and his recovery, we need to focus on this and put our thoughts and our prayers in that direction before we even like sort out the logistics, I think was the right move for sure.
And when you think about this, like I could see this being like a small company and somebody gets hurt or whatever, and they close the doors for a few days, like a restaurant, a family. This is the NFL. The NFL came to a grinding halt for one human being, and they should. Yes. But that's just like, I think when Damar Hamlin really is able to wrap his head around what happened, he's going to be blown away.
I know, right?
Can you imagine? Like, wow. It's overwhelming, really. I'm sure his family knows this is going on in the background, but they're dealing with him in the hospital and all that, which takes up all your energy. But it has to be just like, whoa, just
overwhelming.
Yeah, I hope he's taken care of for life, whatever his future is. And I'm sure he will be. He better be, NFL. take care of him for the rest of his life. Like that was just, it's not, hopefully we'll never, ever, ever, ever see that again.
Yeah.
Ever in any sport. Oh, that was awful.
It was awful.
Anyway, I was really looking forward to that game, and I was like,
I know,
stressed out, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just relax now. I was just about ready to head over to from my desk to my chaise in my living room, and it was like I was standing and watching, and I was like, what is happening? What happened? What? Yeah. So anyway.
All right.
So with that, Maddie, so that's how our weeks have been going. And how's your job?
So tomorrow is the second round interview to see if I get to be the director of advising. We'll see how that goes. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So that's occupying a lot of my brain space this week.
Yeah.
In addition to just like coming back from being, gone for a week and a half, to all the things that need to happen and all of the demands on the time that I don't have, you know. So it's catch up, it's get ready for this interview, it's all the stuff all at once, just a lot.
Oh, you're gonna nail it. That's tomorrow
at 11.
My time zone. All the best. I hope you do great. You will. You'll be fine. Well, we didn't get to talk about our beloved Green Bay Packers win on Sunday because it just what happened on Monday for me, at least. It was just like kind of took that all. I was I was happy Monday, and I was like, oh, it could be football tonight. The Bills and the Bengals. Oh, neat. I like those teams. And then it's like I forgot all about the Packer game after what happened, So that was fun.
Oh my goodness! I told my dad that was like maybe one of my 5 favorite games ever to watch because it was such a week of like, we might beat them, and like Vikings fans chirping, endlessly, and to see that beat down, that butt whooping, happen like that, to be like decisively like, no, we're the better team. And we annihilated you. It was so satisfying, in all phases too. It wasn't like, the Aaron Rodgers putting the team on his back kind of thing that it has been in previous, playoff teams. This was the whole team. It was Aaron Rodgers played kind of bad, actually.
That's what I know. It's like,
and still,
that's right. Kind of like what the 49ers do. You don't need a great, but you know how I feel about that. I don't love that the quarterback, there's so much emphasis put on one player that I don't think that's good for the sport. So anyway, that was quite lovely and satisfying, especially like you say, with that particular fan base who just wants to at the Packer fans. It's like, come on, man.
And then cry about it afterwards, make up conspiracy theories about a wet field. My goodness.
I didn't even catch that, but I
move on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, all the weird conspiracy theories about the Packers win this week has been entertaining and exhausting and ridiculous.
Well, Vikings, we're sorry you forgot to bring your snow boots.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Did they forget their mittens too?
They also forgot, Zadarius forgot how to play his position too, which was also really great. So
did he? Oh, and by the way, I had to listen to that game. I couldn't watch it. I had to listen, so I couldn't see.
Oh no, that's too bad. Yeah, because you were like in like the one little part of the country where they weren't broadcasting.
Right where I live. See, everybody else can watch it except Dawn and her neighborhood.
We probably went back and watched the highlights, I'm assuming. But yeah, Zadarius had like no impact on the game.
Why?
Which was amazing. I don't know, because he's a big baby and he babied out. I don't know. because the Packers, O-line is really good right now and like has really
because of Bakhtiari, probably.
That's a big part of it,
Or was it the other side?
No, there were some good pictures of him on Bakhtiari, and Bakhtiari just like, holding him in place, not holding him because that's illegal, but holding him in place there. Some really great pictures of that actually are out there.
Okay. Well, I didn't see a ton Monday. I don't know what I was doing. I was doing it's been a really busy week for me too. This whole first part of the year is going to be busier than usual. Things, just other extra things going on that I had to tend to. And so I'm going to still look those up. Might watch those highlights one more time. I kept watching a couple things on replay. Some of the like that run back that
Woo!
Nixon.
So good. So good. I've watched that about a bajillion times now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just kept playing it on a loop. I was like, oh, that's so fun. Yeah, and it was fun to see Matt LaFleur so happy. He was just like giddy. He's like, that's how it's supposed to feel. That's how he's used to feeling, winning so much.
And you know, Don, once you've watched the highlights and you kind of burn through that like 15 or 16 times, then you can stop and watch the Lego version of the highlights that they posted on the Packers website and on Twitter earlier today.
No,
that is hilarious. I gotta say, one of my favorite parts is when AJ Dillon did his like band conducting celebration after his touchdown. In the Lego version, it's like a Lego band, like playing actual like, Lego instruments. Cute. So like a really nice touch on that one.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. I love Legos. Legoland is right over here, like a mile away.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And Lorenzo says he cannot wait till Sunday night. So it's going to be Sunday night football for the Packers this time around. And we are going to have a couple Saturday games, right?
Yep. I think it's 2 Saturday games. Is it 2 or 3 actually? Is it 2?
I think it's 2.
I think it's 2.
Weird. Why weren't there any last week, by the way?
Was there college football championships last Saturday? Is that why?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's usually why we don't have games on Saturdays, because there's college football stuff happening.
Right.
Yeah.
My friend was talking to me about a college game today, and I was just like, I didn't see it. I don't watch college at all. I probably should, but maybe I shouldn't, because I spend so much time watching football games. Okay, so tomorrow, Saturday, we have Chiefs Raiders, and then we have Titans Jaguars in the evening.
Right. I might not watch either of those, honestly.
I will. I probably will.
I mean, it's football. I'll probably watch part of them at least, but like, you know, they're not ones I'm like, oh, what's going to happen in this game? This outcome is really important to like the Packers. Like,
no.
Those are AFC games. So I'm kind of like, you know, I mean, that might be fun. I feel like Raiders, you said Raiders and Chiefs, right? Is that going to be entertaining? Like, well, I mean, I guess not. The quarterback who's in for Daire Carragher, which that's a whole weird situation, did really well in this last game. So maybe it'll be, you know, competitive. Maybe.
Did they beat the 49ers, or was it just close?
It was really close. The 49ers pulled ahead at the end.
Pulled it off. Okay, yeah. I was watching little bits of that, because that I could see in my area. I was kind of surprised, but I didn't see enough to know what was going on. Yeah, Chiefs Raiders. I'm not a fan. I mean, the Raiders are kind of like the Vikings of the West Coast.
That's right.
That's my opinion. Do you think so, Lorenzo? Do you think the Raiders are kind of like the Vikings for the West Coast? And I don't love watching the Chiefs. I don't know why. My friend loves the one I was chatting with today about college football. She likes the Chiefs. She likes watching the Chiefs.
I don't like the Chiefs, but I do like watching them, which sounds like a paradox, but I just mean that I'm often going to root for the underdogs. And so the Chiefs are rarely the underdogs, but they're really fun to watch because of all the talent and all the stuff that Mahomes can do. That's just friggin' magic, you know? I think it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be an acquired taste. I don't know. But I also don't like the team. And I also probably feel a little still aggravated about what happened with Andy Reid's son last year. With the child hitting the child in the car and all that. That makes me sick. Honestly, was wondering if I was going to have a hard time watching football after Monday.
I get that.
What is interesting though is the more I've learned about his condition and what happened and how rare it is, and it wasn't like a bad hit. I mean, it's not like this. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of okay with, but I think the first injury, I'll be turning it off. I mean, I'm still a little shook, you know. Yeah. No,
it's a thing that's like we know that in watching the sport, there's violence. It's barbaric at times, you know, and seeing that those traumatic, you know, injuries that happen is sometimes really hard to watch. And bouncing off, like, this is entertainment, but I'm seeing people get, like, you know, destroying their bodies. But this particular instance, it was like a weird freak accident, basically. If it's the kind of thing that people are positing it is, where it's like you get hit in the chest a specific way and it can cause like electrical shock to happen to your heart that can skip a beat. It's like such a weird, random, rare thing.
It's so rare. And the doctors that I've listened to, the cardiologists, and stuff, it's like beyond rare. I mean, it just has to be the right timing when your heart is beating a certain way. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of comfort in the way that it's like, okay, this isn't going to keep happening.
Right.
And then also, if he did have some kind, because initially I was like, he must have a pre-existing heart condition they didn't know about or something. Why would he just collapse from that? So, and they even won't be able to. Doctors said in the press conference they won't know for a while, and they said that that diagnosis that you're talking about, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want anyone to accuse me of saying anything medical or predicting anything, but that is kind of like if they rule out everything else, then it must be that. That's how there's no way to actually diagnose that. So.
And then the fact that like this isn't a player safety issue, like this one isn't a player safety issue because it's not like something you could protect against because it's a freak thing. It's like, okay, well, can't go against the NFL on that. Can't like hate the NFL for not like looking after the players. It was a freak accident. So
right. And the way they managed to do the CPR properly and doing the intubation and all that properly. So Lorenzo said, yeah, the Raiders, they're going to get a new quarterback and that they're okay. Okay. But Lorenzo's a nice person. He likes everybody. So like I usually am, but I'm getting a little bit in my older age. I'm getting a little bit more like, I don't like that. Or I don't like them. I'm holding a grudge. I'm starting to hold some grudges. I'm starting to take names. Yeah. So speaking of Sunday being glorious, yeah, that was just, and even just listening to it was glorious. I mean, because it was Wayne and Larry.
I was gonna say, you're listening to Wayne and Larry.
Yeah, how excited they were, and they were just like, "Wow, what?" They even seemed surprised, like how dominant we were. Yeah. I wish we would be that way in more games, even last year and the year before, like just really putting teams away like that.
They have a chance to show it. They have one chance this week, and hopefully what 4 more chances after that.
Right. I had the title of our podcast. That was fun. 5 more times.
I like it. That's perfect.
And then I kind of switched to thank God because of what happened, but either or, we've got a working title here. I'll decide after we finish up what it's going to be. Which one do you like better? That was fun 5 more times, or thank God?
That was fun 5 more times.
Okay. That's going to be it. That's our title of today's podcast. Okay, ready? So did you bring some superlatives? Because I don't think I did. I might have, but
I got some here.
Okay, what you got?
All right. So my first one is most fun. Now this one ends up being a tie. Actually, I was going to try to decide before we came on today who got the most fun superlative for the week. I got to do them both. I got to do them both, Don. Okay.
Perfect.
So ultimately, I'm going to have like actually 4 superlatives this week. But so the first of the most fun 1A is Daire Carragher. He did a film breakdown of the that celebration I was talking about, the AJ Dillon celebration after his touchdown. Where he was doing like conducting a band. A lot of the, I just got to say here, as a former band director, lifelong musician, the conducting form was terrible, and the miming of the instruments was barely intelligible, but I don't care. It was fun. One of my musician friends who also watches Packers games texted me. I was like, they need to pay you to go up to Lambeau and show them how to actually mime these instruments. But that quibble, that qualm aside, it was such a fun moment. So anyhow, Daire Carragher did a film breakdown like you would do for, trying to teach people about plays and concepts of like the different elements of that celebration. Like here's this person doing this instrument, and like here's a commentary on it, and just like as though it was a serious breakdown of the celebration. It was hilarious. It was so good.
How fun. I saw somebody tweet, oh, you gotta love the guy doing the air triangle or whatever. And I was like laughing, even though I didn't see it or know anything about what was going on. I was just like, maybe figured it was somebody in the stands, or I figured I missed something, but that it was still funny. It was still funny, like a guy doing an air triangle.
And
like, that's hilarious.
Speaking of the air triangle, in this thread that Daire put together, I did put a comment in there. Like, I don't think because I think Daire had said he's doing cowbell, and I was like, no, I think it's more like a triangle, like it's kind of form that you use for triangle. And I think there's some room for interpretation, except for the fact that if you look at the holding hand, the holding on the instrument with, You can't really hold a cowbell. Now, of course, if you're not seeing the video, it's harder to relay this, through audio, but you can't hold a cowbell with a kind of like hand position that I forget who the player was. I wish I could remember who it was. And the beating motion with the other hand, that could be cowbell or triangle, but I do think that with the way it was held in the pantomime, I do think it was a triangle.
Yeah, see, I would think they would be like ding ding ding, like doing the shape.
That's bad technique on a triangle, though, Dawn.
Yes.
On a triangle. Here we go. Oh, you started me on something here.
See,
okay, Dawn.
Your triangle, Maddie.
On a triangle, in the corner, any one of the corners,
right?
You want to strike just away from the corner because that's where you get the best resonance from the triangle itself.
Right.
So if you have like a triangle here with your little triangle beater, it's called the beater, get right there, right near the corner, not on the corner, but really just away from it. And if you have to like do like fast, like you get like a roll, then you go like in that small little crook there in the corner between the two parts to get that kind of effect with the best possible sound. That's triangle. That's triangle technique. There you go. Now you all know how to play triangle.
You're here to learn how to play the triangle. We're bringing it to you live. That's awesome.
So suffice to say, Daire, this idea he had to like break it down as a film study was hilarious. Like the idea was funny, the execution was impeccable, because he just nailed it with each one of the like individual Packers contributing their instrument, their pantomime instrument to the band. Very good stuff. Very funny. So that was most fun 1A. Most fun 1B was kind of a similar sort of thing. Here's talking about Dusty Evely for the week as usual. So Dusty Evely did one, and the tweet was, Doubs has been working as the furthest man back in the victory formation lately, and I love the energy. He kneels at the same time as the QB and then gives a little dance. So that was like the text of the tweet. So it's just a tweet. And so it's like this first thing is just like a little, 4-second clip of Romeo Doubs doing like the kneel, kind of like you do in victory formation, but he's back set from the formation, right? It's like in a fullback sort of position. Does the thing, but then he gets up and does a little dance, cute little like shimmy kind of thing. And then so Dusty had like 4 or 5 different like examples in the thread of this, and comparing to like Aaron Jones who does nothing, he'll just do it like, then get up. And I think there was one that was like somebody else, I can't remember all the details here, but somebody else like doing it and like putting their own spin on it, like their own kind of like way of interpreting this role of like the fun way of doing it. So just another really like just a fun thread. I feel like I spend a lot of my time looking at like the stuff that Dusty does, and like threads that people write, breaking things down, stuff that Sam does, Sam Holman, and trying to like digest that, absorb it. And it takes like the real, like, you really got to dig into it and like give it a lot of attention. So to have threads like both of these that are just like fun and like interesting and the same kind of like format, but just kind of silly. I loved it. They're both very, very fun threads. Highly recommended.
I love it. I did get Dusty's, which killed me. That is just adorable. And so now they're all going to start doing it,
I hope so. That's great. It's a great idea.
It's great. Okay, Lorenzo said, so great, Aaron Rodgers to LOL. Are you saying Aaron Rodgers is going to be traded?
I think he means what Aaron Rodgers did in the celebration. I would guess that.
The bass guitar.
The bass guitar, like way up high up by his nipples. Like
he was like, oh, yeah, that was funny. It was good.
A lot of good contributions from the team on that. So
for sure.
Should I keep going with my second one?
Keep going because I forgot what mine was. I was going to bring one, but I'd have a really hard time with football this week, you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, so my next one. This is going to be the double play here by Daire Carragher, getting mentioned twice tonight. He's been on a tear this week, as I mentioned on Twitter. So he also wrote a really good, informative article. It was called "The Packers Completely Overhauled the Defensive Structure at the Bye Week." So what Daire did is he broke down what the different like coverages were that the defense used percentage-wise relative to themselves and relative to the rest of the league before the bye and after the bye. And you can see like very stark changes happened. I think there's probably some self-scouting that happened. Hopefully, as Joe Barry doing that self-scouting and coming to like conclusions that helped to make the defense better set up for success, because they've been a lot better since the bye, like crazy noticeably better. And this is why there's like there are actual things that happen. It's not just like the players come out and they're playing better. They are playing better, but that I think starts with the scheme and putting them, like I said, in position to be more successful. And so for Daire to go and break that down and explain it to us In every time he does break stuff down, it's always like very easy to read, very easy to understand. I appreciate that. He never gets too overly technical in his language. When he does, he always explains what the thing is he's talking about. So yeah, just a really smart, insightful, numbers based analysis of what the defense is doing and how they've changed since the bye. It's extremely instructive, extremely fascinating. Outstanding work, Dara.
Yay, Dara. And Dara, because you mentioned Dara before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Double donk.
Double Dara.
All right. Very good. I just thought I lost my brain there for a second. Sorry about that.
They could both be the case. So should I do my last one too then, Dawn? Do you want to just go right into that?
Sure, go for it. And then I have 2 for you guys tonight.
All right. So this one is also like a thread that was easy to digest, but this one was also highly informative. So here's kind of like the hybrid of the 2 different concepts I've talked about tonight. So I've talked about fun threads and I've talked about informative articles. Well, this is bringing those together into an informative, fun thread.
Nice.
No, this was excellent. This was Sam Holman's work. I actually just mentioned him. This was a casual TJ Slayton masterclass. Oh, fouls, I swear. So basically what it was just like several 5 to 8 whatever second clips of what TJ Slayton was doing. So start with the clip. Sam would circle where TJ Slayton was, so you know who to watch. And in all of these clips, I can't remember, it's like 5 or 6 or 7 clips. Each one of them, you can see TJ Slayton's doing stuff, like having an impact, and like in ways that I wouldn't have ever noticed just watching it, because things happen fast, and it's not always easy to know where to look to catch like the most important information at a play. You got 22 guys doing stuff, So to have this chance to like really focus on what TJ Slayton brought to the game, the impact he had, the way he wrecked a lot of the stuff that the Vikings were trying to do, offense, was outstanding. And just so easy to digest. A casual, he calls it a casual, what is it? Casual TJ Slayton masterclass. Casual
and masterclass don't normally go together, but
exactly, right? And that casual part, as I mentioned in the retweet of it, was its strength, because by keeping it just kind of basically, look, you can see what's happening here. I'm going to circle the guy, watch what he does. Oh, isn't it amazing? No words. Even just had like music overlaid on it. It's some metal stuff. This is gonna make me sound so old. Some metal stuff. I don't know, but I didn't know the music, but whatever. But there's no words, just music, just the thing happening. See what's happening. It's easy to digest. Excellent work.
Thank you, Sam, for always doing such great work.
Yes.
Okay, so I have best question from a beat reporter, a Packers beat reporter.
Okay.
Whom I am not 100% sure, but it sounded like Bill Huber. It's so unfortunate that they don't, like I said before, during the Zoom, you knew who was that. It sounded like him. And I didn't listen to his podcast or read anything. I did read a few things to see if I could find it. But he asked Coach LaFleur about Rodger's basically leadership skills. And he wondered because he saw a change. And he wondered if that came from Coach LaFleur maybe talking with him. And I thought that was really, and of course, LaFleur is going to keep that discreet. He's not going to say, we had a talk. He's not going to do that. But I thought that was a really interesting question. And it was just kind of out there. And I am going to find a clip and I'm going to put it on I'll tweet it. And I might put it in our community page here on YouTube.
Nice.
As well, because, I can't do videos. I'd have to post it, but I'll just do a short clip of it because I think it was Monday. I'm pretty sure it was Monday because it was before what happened with Damar Hamlin happened. So, because they wouldn't have been talking about that after that. So
right.
Thought it was interesting. I mean, they did have a small, like, back and forth, if I remember correctly, but I think but maybe embedded in the question, he said he felt like it was important to Rodgers. Or Rodgers had said something. I'm not sure where, if it was on the McAfee show or what, but that indicated that this was important to him to make this change, for him to be perceived by the younger players a certain way and all the team members. So that it seemed like he took it to heart. So I thought that was interesting. No one is above getting advice. No one.
That is true. The minute we think we've learned everything is the minute our goose is cooked.
Our goose is cooked. That's right. And my second and last superlative, I kind of alluded to it earlier. Best family, Damar Hamlin's family. We're seeing all kinds of, just even the doctors mentioned it. Even the doctors in the press conference, or at least one of them said, if everybody had a family like that, man, that would be great, because of the way they have rallied around him. And of course, kudos to the Bills organization and all those things, but not everybody has a family like that. But his uncle said, the first time the uncle spoke, which was Tuesday night, he said they were all watching. I mean, his mother was watching at the stadium, but they were at home watching, and in their various homes and whatnot. And he said, well, I'm going up there. We're going up there. And they got 2 cars full of people, of relatives, and just dropped everything and went. I mean, how lovely I'm just glad he has a good family around him, because that's really important too. So
it's like we always ask our guests on the show, like, what does your family do to help you, be able to do this stuff? Having that support, from your family, from your people around you. It's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And I just love that the doctors actually brought that out. So I thought that was cool. So with that, any final thoughts before we go? Lorenzo, wish you a good night. Any questions for us, Lorenzo, before we go?
If Lorenzo's typing something while he's getting that ready, I'll just say, I think my final thoughts are it's the Damar Hamlin thing is a good reminder, one, of the preciousness of life. Of course, hug your loved ones. Don't wait to tell them you love them. All that good stuff. But also, I think really gave us a chance to view how beautiful community is. To see everyone come together, to see people, every football team changing their Twitter, profile picture to be, Damar Hamlin's number 3 jersey, to see all the outpouring of support, to see, for instance, Robert Mays was talking to the Bills beat reporter who stuck around in town to monitor the situation, and how the Cincinnati Reds beat reporter for The Athletic came and just hung out with him, just to be somebody who could be there to support him. This is a guy who's actually one of my kids' good friends' dads. He's actually kind of my buddy, Trent. So the fact that Robert Mays is so Trent Rosecrans went and hung out with you and supported you, just to see that there is this community around football, is it makes my heart sing, Dawn. We talk about the Packers Twitter community, the Packers online community all the time. To see it on a larger level is just so beautiful.
It really is. And football is life. It's a metaphor for life. And the community around it's just amazing. And I had a thought and it just went right out of my head. And it was actually really important. I had one final thought. Maybe I'll think of it. Maybe I won't. If I don't, I'll put it in the comments below.
There you go.
And for those watching or replaying, say hi in the comments. And the links of the mentions that we're talking about will be put in the description below this video. If you're listening on podcast, hey to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. And let's bring her home, Maddie.
All right. Don, are you stalling so that you can try to remember what the thing was?
I know. I'm like, it was really important.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, if you remember it while I'm talking through the closing script, please interrupt me, because 1, I want to hear it, and 2, that'd be hilarious. So here we go. Interrupt me if you think of it. Friends, of course. You'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned, so please check it out. Also, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. Or if you're not, if you're just somebody who listens to our show, whatever. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know, and that includes yourself. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you and be fans of you and to have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you again next week on.
On Dawn, did you remember the thing yet? Shoot. On. Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.